This guy is as out there as it gets, and the worst part, Rita, is that he is welcomed. Indeed, he is feted. He is lauded by many Democratic officials. Most recently was Ro Khanna, the Epsom Files-obsessed congressman out of California. There, he was saying that Hassan Piker was great. I stand with Hassan Piker there. It's just disgusting stuff. But I will say, I've actually been to Cuba. It's pretty rare for Americans to go. I've actually been to Cuba. I've seen it for myself. You cannot possibly see Cuba, Rita, which, along with North Korea, is one of the last examples of true, legitimate communism remaining on planet Earth. This utterly failed, terrific, murderous, violent, failed ideology. I've actually seen it. And when you actually see Cuba, when you see this beautiful water, Havana can be an amazing city, really. It has so much potential there. And you see these buildings, it's dilapidated. It looks like a rock circa 2005. Like bombs going off there, there's stray dogs, people are skeletal, they're begging for scraps of men's poverty. It's just sad. And no one can see what I saw in my fairly brief trip, 4 or 5 days, whatever it was, 7 years ago to Cuba. No one can see that and come away thinking that communism is good. So there's a perverse part of me that actually hopes that if there's any silver lining out of this outrageous stuff, that we start getting some more videos of the real Cuba. Now, that's not going to happen, right? Because they're probably going to do a bunch of tailored images and heavily doctored, but maybe there's a small chance for at least some people to get to the real story. In the meantime, though, I would prosecute Hassan Piker.
Well, some of the scenes coming out of there are just really quite grotesque. You've got these rich liberals from America with their brand new iPhones taking videos from their air-conditioned bus of the poverty and of the people, the poverty-stricken people who are living under communism. It really is quite perverse, and they think they're helping them by doing that. Now to the war in Iran, and Iran's military is threatening to completely close the Strait of Hormuz if Donald Trump follows through with his threat to destroy Iran's power plants. White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt has explained that President Trump expects NATO allies to pull their weight in helping to open the Straits of Hormuz.
NATO allies benefit far more from the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz than the United States does. As you know, thanks to this president's energy agenda, we are a net exporter of oil. We have enough resources here at home for our people, and that's a good thing, thanks to President Trump. The strait opening is obviously good for America because it will stabilize the global oil industry and will bring prices down again. But it's greatly benefits Europe and our allies in NATO, and the president wants to see them do more.
Josh, it appears NATO again expects America to do all the heavy lifting, even though they're the ones that are reliant on foreign oil.
Yeah, Rita, this was actually my lead story on my own show this past Friday. NATO has never looked more useless than it currently is. Literally, I'm not sure it actually ever has. If ever there was a time for NATO, and especially the Western European countries of NATO, the wealthy European countries there, Britain, UK, France, Italy, Germany, etc. If ever there was a time, guys, for you to come to the defense of, by far, the #1 funder and defender of NATO, which is the United States there, this would be the time. And this would be the time for a whole host of reasons. One is that the President of the United States is basically begging you to. And two, just as importantly, if not more importantly there, these European countries are much more in a direct...
You fucking idiot.
...in this range of Iran than the United States is actually there. So if ever there's a time, guys, to come and launch...
He fucking shot me, you dumb fuck.
The United States more generally, this really would be the time. I continue to think, Rita, what is the point of NATO in the year 2026? I'm honestly not sure that I can tell you. NATO was founded in 1941 as an anti-Soviet alliance. It made a lot of sense. And of course, that mission was famously accomplished. You had Ronald Reagan, Maggie Thatcher, John Paul II, then you have the defeat of communism. But this happened a long time ago. The Berlin Wall literally fell in the year I was born, 1989. The Soviet Union formally dissolved into the Russian Federation 2 years later, in 1991. Here we are, 3.5 decades after that. What is the point exactly of this organization other than just to give essentially an escape hatch to allow a bunch of free riders there on the European continent when it comes to the American taxpayer? I'm genuinely not sure how to answer that question there. I'm not saying that America can go it alone. I very much value bilateral relations, bilateral alliances. Israel's frankly a good example of the this war effort there. But if you're going to be an ally of the United States, you probably should actually act like one and not just basically benefit from the American taxpayer largesse, which basically what here's the Emmanuel Macron and all the rest of the
Josh, you wrote in the LA Times recently about climate change alarmism. You said it's diminishing, and there's a growing doubt about the catastrophic climate predictions we've heard for decades now. Tell me about that, because there has been some recent polling showing young people in particular no longer see climate change as a top-tier issue.
Yeah, so the longer story is basically what you say, is that the polling was starting to level off. But for a long time, this was an ever-ascending issue around the time of Al Gore's in truth, and then for about a decade after that, it really just seemed like younger Americans were trending in an ardently pro-green, pro-radical, pro-environmentalist direction. The polls have generally leveled off. And the big thing to me that got me thinking more about this issue, was that Bill Gates himself, who's one of the doyens of climate change alarmism, along with Al Gore, Bill Gates wrote a blog post, really kind of slipped under the radar at his own website in October. It was at his foundation website, where he essentially said, you know what, I was brilliantly thinking that the world was going to end because of this, and he actually probably overstating it. Don't get me wrong, it's still not great, blah, 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 but the world's not going to end. And I saw that, I was like, that's a big concession, actually. That's essentially a today's flip flop. And there's a lot of similar instances like that. So I think that the cat is out of the bag on this one, that Democrats are starting to realize this is a losing issue. In my estimation, the number one reason why younger Americans are starting to pull in a slightly more realistic direction on this issue is because the cost of living here is difficult enough as it is. When it comes to income, when it comes to the fact that 2/3 of Americans live paycheck to paycheck there, no one wants to deal with the artificially inflated prices that come with the radical green agendas. There's basically a massive wager by Democrats starting about 2 decades ago, again with Al Gore, that whole documentary and all that crap. But at this point, the checks are in, and the checks report from Democrats are about rebalancing on it.
Josh Hammer, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Joining me now, celebrity and world commentator Kinsey Schofield. Kinsey, we've got to talk about pop star Chapel.
Why are you shooting teammates, dude?
I don't know who that is, but she thinks she is the biggest star in the world, and she's been accused of making his 11-year-old daughter cry during an interaction in Brazil. She apparently sent her bodyguard to criticise the young girl and scold her mother. Kinsey, tell me about this. It just seems like an incredible interaction.
Yeah, so it's actually her stepfather that posted about it on social media, saying that his stepdaughter just wanted to confirm that it was her, walked past her table, and then a big, tough, angry, mean security guard came, got in her face, and made her cry. Now, Rowan has made a video saying, I had nothing to do with it, he's not my personal bodyguard, but there are plenty of examples of Rowan misbehaving when it comes to fan engagement, misbehaving when it comes to photographers on a carpet, like where she's there to perform for those photographers. So I'm not buying it, Rita. I think that she probably did have, my personal opinion, I think she probably did make some plans.
Chappelle having her breakfast seems fairly nonsensical. And you mentioned the behaviour. Let's have a look at this clip. Let's see how she treats her fans. Here she claims they are perhaps harassing her, even though she's the one who's shown up to a celebrity hotspot.
So I'm just in the dinner, and I've asked if people several times to get away from me.
Step to the side. Step to the
This
side.
person I've asked several times to go away, and they will not. You're hanging their cheeks because they're trees. You can then ask them. These are all people that they're just not
I shall
sure. This is very all over my boundaries. So this is the go away.
Kinsey, she ain't the most likeable pop star. I can't put it any more nicely than that.
Being a pop star means living in the spotlight, and that spotlight is powered by fans. When Rowan shows open frustration to them or to photographers, it reads as completely ungrateful. Boundaries are reasonable, but hostility is not.
And I loved in that clip where she said that, this character is so ashamed he's hiding his face, and then he just smiles right at the camera and says, I'm surprised she posted that clip on Twitter. Now, a source close to the matter has told the UK Telegraph that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle
this decision believes there is too much political risk, that people will rise up and be angry about having to fork up such a significant amount of money to protect these two, while the police and security chiefs believe that Harry absolutely must have, according to, again I'm quoting, must have increased security due to threats. Ultimately, though, what we think they want is IPP status. IPP stands for Internationally Protected Person. It's normally applied to presidents, prime ministers, and diplomats. If someone has been designated the IPP status, countries are obligated to provide heightened security and protection for them, no matter what country it is. For Harry and Meghan, the incentive seems to be international. Well, I think the incentive is primarily, but also finance, because international government level protection would dramatically reduce the cost of their private security. That would save the Sussexes millions of dollars.
Now, insiders have told Page 6 that bridesmaid star Rebel Wilson is her own worst enemy after she unleashed several social media sprays against her so-called enemies, including billionaire Selene Lamberton. She's had high-profile clashes, including with Sacha Baron Cohen.
She a mean girl, Lena? Like, are we finding out that she might have a dark side? Yeah, I mean, now Rebel Wilson is being accused of what Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni really put on the map recently, an online smear campaign with the objective of damaging someone's project, movie, or career. Is this a new strategy in Hollywood? Absolutely not. But due to the interest surrounding the Baldoni case, I think you will see more lawsuits like this one that expose the really ugly side of Hollywood. I will stress, though, that I don't think Rebel's going to come out of this looking squeaky clean. I think it's already having a negative effect on her personal brand, and I wonder if she will struggle to get work going forward.
A report in the Daily Mail claims that pop star Usher, feels underappreciated by his former mentee Justin Bieber. And why has Justin Bieber distanced himself from Usher? There's a picture of the pair of them at the moment that's gone viral where 50 Cent has had some words to say. I won't repeat it here, Kinsey, because we could get sued, but there are all sorts of unsavory allegations flying around.
Sources tell the Daily Mail that Bieber and Usher clashed at an Oscars party recently, with Justin's camp, someone anonymously stressing that Usher did not protect Justin Bieber when he introduced him into the world as a child pop star. Whether from a moral perspective or a financial perspective, maybe both, but we're not certain. But Justin has struggled with his mental health as an adult and seems to resent a lot of the original team.
Yes, I think 50 Cent knows a little bit about this, and I do wonder whether there'll be another documentary on these sorts of issues that we're touching on. Now, Sag Harbor Police have released body cam footage from Justin Timberlake's 2024 DUI arrest, despite the singer's attempts to block it. Here he is struggling to complete the field sobriety test after he was pulled over for allegedly running a stop sign.
You're going to put your right foot in front of your left, stay just like that. Okay? You're going to heel to toe, like this. Heel to toe.
It's a normal process. Yeah, just everything is pretty standard. Is there anything specifically that are you wondering, or just... No, I just wanted to write like really cut before.
Why are you shooting now?
Why is this coming out now? This is almost 2 years old.
Because they sued, fought to keep it, locked away. Because the police station did tell TMZ at the time that it happened that they would not be releasing the body cam. So somebody was technically dishonest here. But can I just tell you, drinking and driving is horrible. But if Justin Timberlake was afraid that this video would ruin him, it's had the opposite effect. The internet is dying.
It actually has.
Oh, they're dying over Justin looking at the cop and questioning why the cop wrote white under his race. And then he starts cracking up and then the cop giggles.